Hey everybody, welcome back to Midwest Cooking here on YouTube. Today we're going to be making slow cooker scalloped potatoes with ham. You can make it without the ham if you want, but we prefer a little meat in ours, so that's what we're doing. So you're going to need a 5-pound bag of potatoes. You're going to need a little ranch seasoning mix. You can use any kind. We have the Hidden Valley. 2 10.5 ounce cans of cream of mushroom soup. Onion powder, garlic powder, and parsley flakes, just a taste. You're going to need maybe a small onion, depending on how much you want to put in. We just have a rather large one there. If you want ham, any type of ham that you would prefer. We have a farmland smoked ham and some cheddar cheese. Now you can use any type of cheddar cheese that you want, mild, medium, whatever it might be. The first thing we need to do is we are going to peel the potatoes and we'll dice up the onion and chop up the ham. So no real need to show you that here. That's pretty self-explanatory. So we'll get everything peeled up, we'll get everything chopped up, and then we'll come back and show you how to assemble everything and then how to get it in our 9x13 slow cooker pan. So we'll be back once we're have everything prepared and ready to mix everything together. Okay, so now that we have all the potatoes sliced and they've been sitting in the cold water for a few minutes, you know, maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes, however long. Longer you go, the more it'll pull out. So we're just going to take the bowl, dump all the ice out. We'll rinse them once with clean water, and then we'll lay out some paper towel and dry them off. And then we'll start to assemble everything before it goes into the crock pot. Alright, so we are ready to go. We have all of our potatoes sliced and dried. You want to make sure you dry them off. And then if you're going to use a 9x13 crock pot or even a regular crock pot, what you need to do is get it sprayed. If you're going to be using an oven pan, 9x13 oven pan, same thing, just make sure you spray it real good with non-stick. And then what we're going to do is we are going to assemble essentially the sauce of the scalloped potatoes. So this is where you're going to want to take your 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup and put it in your bowl, and then we will mix in some of the rest of the ingredients here. Make sure you get it all out of there. You want to have enough cream in your scalloped potatoes. So here's the second can. And again, you're going to want to use a rather large bowl. You'll probably need a small spatula and then a whisk to kind of whisk everything together. So we have our 2 cans of cream of mushroom that are in. Next is going to be our Hidden Valley Ranch. Just dump that in. And again, that's maybe about a 1/4 of a cup. Depends on how much you'd like. You can do less or more if you really like the Hidden Valley stuff. Then we have our Lawry seasoning salt, and that's just going to be a kind of a little dash. Again, use your discretion. Really no specific measurements here. Next we have our onion powder, kind of the same thing. Then we have garlic powder. Again, same thing. Not a whole lot, just a couple shakes. And then we have parsley flakes. So just a little bit of that. For color and taste. So then what we'll do is we will use our whisk, and we'll whisk, or I should say, we'll whisk in our cheese as well. And that's about 10 ounces. If you want more cheese, feel free to use it. We just kind of went with the 10-ounce mark. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to kind of mix all this together. Just incorporate it a little bit, and then we're going to add a splash of milk. It doesn't have to be 2% or 1%, whatever it is that you want. So just a splash. And then you're going to want to finish kind of mixing that together. Just once everything is kind of incorporated, that's all you really need. No specific time on that. I'll give you a look here so you can see. Obviously, that's what you want. Now, what you can do after that is grab yourself a spoon and you're just going to want to take a couple heaping spoonfuls in your crock pot here and just kind of line the base of it. Just kind of like you do almost with a lasagna. Just so you kind of have some stuff on the bottom so the potatoes don't just sit right in the pan. They got a little bit on there. And then all you're going to do is essentially add your ham and onions to the mixture if you'd like. We have a little over a pound of ham here. Again, if you saw the beginning of the video, you saw the package. You can decide how much you'd like to use. We put it all in because we like a lot of ham. And then we have, again, we used that large onion. We diced up about a half of it. So you can add that in. And then essentially all you're going to do is finish mixing. So just incorporate everything in here real good. And then what you do is once everything is mixed, I guess I probably should have used a bigger spoon. Oh well. Essentially then all you got to do is dump your potatoes in. Like so. Kind of even them out. And then your mixture is going to go in. Oops. Does that kind of make a mess? You want to grab your spatula here and let's try centering that for you. How does that work? And just continue scraping everything else into the pan. Now this will sink down as your crock pot decides to kind of slowly warm everything up. So yeah, it might look like a heap right now, which it is. But just take your spatula or your spoon and just kind of push everything out to the corners. Make sure it's even. And then really all you need to do is put your crock pot on high for 4 to 5 hours. Put your cover on and really just let it cook. So again, we're using 9x13 crock pot here, which I really like, as opposed to maybe some of the circular ones. It's a lot bigger. So if you're going to be using kind of your semi-oval crock pots, make sure you use the biggest one you got. And same thing on your 9x13 pan. Make sure it's a nice deep one. So what we'll do is we'll let this cook up and we'll come back here in maybe about 4 or 5 hours and show you what the product looks like. Alright, so there you have it. There is your finished product. It took a little bit longer in the slow cooker than we kind of expected. I think what happened was we cut our potatoes a little bit thicker than what we originally anticipated. So it took about 6.5 or 7 hours in the slow cooker in the end, compared to the 5 that we originally usually have, but cut the potatoes a little bit thicker than we would normally do apparently. So the main thing is once you're done with this, once it's cooking, turn it off or turn it on to warm, and you're going to want to let it cool a little bit. That'll allow some of your sauce to thicken up. And then once it can thicken up, it won't be so so hot it'll burn your skin right off of your tongue. You're gonna want to let it cool. So again, just to recap, you want to put it on high on your slow cooker, and you want to leave it on for anywhere between 5 to 6 hours. And if your potatoes are a little bit thicker, maybe anticipating it being a little bit longer. You can always cook it a little bit longer in the slow cooker as opposed to shorter. It's not really going to burn anything. As you can see, some of our cheese kind of got that browned edge around the pan. But all in all, real simple dish to make. You can set it and forget it during the weekday, or on the weekend you can. So now it's just going to be time to grab a spoon and dig in. And again, thanks for stopping by. If you can give us a thumbs up and leave a comment or a question on the video, that'd be great. We appreciate it, and hopefully you don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks again.